Well, we're leaving Rudy's and going out to meet our other friend, David Parsons, the other old guy who rides with us. So as we're riding out here, some more thoughts on being an old biker. I think one of the secrets about getting old and doing it right is to hang around with old people who know how to do it right, because they're an inspiration. And my good friend Bill Zahner, who I talk about a lot, who died a couple of years ago at 86, he was my old coach. Not an old coach, although he was old, but he was my coach and mentor, and I learned so much from him about how to deal with the dilemma of getting old. And here's a quick little clip of something Bill said in a video documentary I did about him a few years ago that I've always liked. And I might adopt this as the new title for my motovlog, Devious Old Age.
Once a year, twice a year actually, for the last 50 odd years, I've taken a trip west to Big Bend National Park. It's one of my favorite places to go paint. I've been there maybe 200 times, and people will say, well, you've seen that. What are you going back there for? Paint the same things over and over? Because people say, well, you painted that one, this very canyon right back here. This one. I know this is version number 412, I'm sure. But this one is different than all the others. It's a little better. It has more insight. I am smarter now than I was when I first started painting this. I'm more insightful. I have experience for which we know there's no replacement. You know, youth and energy will never replace devious old age. Never. I've painted this canyon 400 times, pencil drawings, watercolors, oil paintings. Every time I do it, I learn something. I learn something new. Some part of me, another synapse, nerve synapse comes to life. Oh, I'll say another epiphany, a revelation. And it happens if you just open your mind up and let it. And so I want to remember things like that.
So one of the challenges of getting old is the way people view us, because we do have a lot of experience. We've lived a long time, we've had a lot of experiences, we've learned a lot, we have a lot of skills, and we're still useful. However, our culture does not value that. And so that makes it difficult. One of the areas is in employment. I'm fortunate I'm still working at 75. I'm a director of human resources for a medical management company. But one of the things I have to deal with every day is knowing that if I quit this job or if I lose this job, it's going to be very, very difficult for me to go out on the market, even though my whole life is been spent in training and development and personal growth experiences. I'm a certified human resource professional. I know I have a lot to offer any company, but the interview process is basically humiliating because they can't discriminate against me legally, but they find other ways to do it. They just don't want to hire somebody who's 75. So you have to learn how to deal with that. Another challenge is, again, the perceptions of people. Just a few years ago, I started to notice when I was in social situations and I would meet people for the first time. Normally, when you meet people for the first time, after you say, hi, nice to meet you, and all those niceties, one of the first questions they ask you is, what do you do? But I started getting more questions around, are you retired? And that bothered me. But there's not a lot you can do about it. So my advice is, don't make these assumptions about people. You know, another thing I've learned is if you want to get old and do it right, then take care of yourself. Just kind of assume you're probably going to live to be in your 80s or so, and start working on that now, because it's really bothersome to see people who are much younger than me, who are overweight, they still walk slow, they start to be bent over, they don't want to do anything anymore. It seems like they start getting old at around 50 or so, because they don't eat right, they don't exercise. And if you take care of yourself, it's just like your motorcycle. If you take care of yourself and you take care of your motorcycle and maintain it properly, that motorcycle will last you a long, long time. So I try to take care of myself, mentally and physically. And I've also learned that taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually is probably one of the most important things you can do to enjoy those, quote, golden years. Never stop learning. People get so hardened in their opinions that they lose their curiosity about the world. I got my master's degree in organizational development just about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in my late 60s. Because I don't want to stop learning. But I see too many people who are just hardened in their opinions about the world. And they don't listen anymore. They don't ask questions. They're not interested in other people. And we need to stay interested in other people, because other people are very fascinating. Other people have stories to tell. We can learn from anybody if we just open our mind and realize we don't know everything. Another thing I've learned about getting old is that money is not the source of happiness. When we're in our younger years, we sacrifice a lot of our life at work, trying to make money. In my case, so much of my younger years were consumed with that, because my self-worth was tied up with my net worth. And I always figured, you know, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I have a car. I'll be happy when I can buy another motorcycle. I'll be happy when I get a better job. And you know, all those things happened. I got a better motorcycle. I got married. I got a nice house. I even, at one point in my life, had a nice condo in Colorado, and I owned my own business, and I could go up there, and I thought all those things would make me happy, but you know, they didn't. They did for a moment, but it always left. But I kept chasing it, and now in these later years I've realized that we have the capacity to be happy before anything happens. We have the capacity to be happy in spite of what happens. Because happiness is already there. And happiness is the default state of mind. So I spend a lot of my time studying emotional intelligence, mindfulness meditation, and learning how to find that space between stimulus and response, where we're able to make a decision about how we're going to respond. And so often that space is so closed up for us that it's totally non-existent, and we react to the circumstances that life throws at us, and we react based on our programming about what is good or bad, instead of working on opening up that space between stimulus and response, where it's quiet and peaceful, and where the answers will come to us if we just let them. So I haven't mastered that totally, but I'm a lot happier now than I was when I was in my 20s and 30s. So you get a little bit more philosophical as you get older.